Articulation Radio. Articulation. And salutations. Welcome to another exciting episode of Articulation Radio. I am your hostess, the eternally grateful Goddess Sage. You know how we do things here at Articulation Radio. We will kick off the top of the day's episode by taking a quick glance at the news headlines. And today's news segment is sponsored by bepublished.org.
These are three of the news headlines and events I saw today, Thursday, May 13th, 2021, when visiting EliteValuesNews.com on your behalf. Goddess Sage releases her third music project titled Earth Birth, her first instrumental CD that will be released on May 21st. Malia Taye Maljaza releases her 48th book, which is titled Fighting Love, also on May 21st. And again on May 21st, Dr. Mary Jefferson releases her first motivational speaking video to her Do Despite platform. Those are three of the exciting news headlines and events that I saw today when visiting EliteValuesNews.com on your behalf. Be sure to check them out every minute within the hour, any time that you decide that you want to know what's happening in pretty much any category you can think of under the sun, because as you know, so much happens in this world of ours, and the staff here at Elite Values News makes it a point to keep you abreast of as much as possible. Be sure to check us out every hour on the hour. I'm Joaquin Mann reporting live.
Looking for the latest news? Visit Elite Values News. EliteValuesNews.com has all the latest news and information. Check out the headlines hourly. EliteValuesNews.com. Visit now.
Do you want to be published? Are you looking for a high-quality, low-cost way to be published with a fast turnaround? Visit bepublished.org to publish today. www.bepublished.org. Bepublished.org. Publish today. Books, movies, and music.
Listeners, we love you. We hear you. And I am definitely happy to be here with you again today on this episode of Articulation Radio, where you will not only hear wonderful music from independent artists from around the world, you will also get the chance to hear me talk to a move maker, a doer, and I'm not going to tell you with whom I'll be speaking or about what we'll be discussing, but stay tuned.
Whenever you're down, out in the cold, faithless and dark, your story's untold. Come take my hand and walk there with me. I know a place where we can be free. There is a light shining for you, guiding your way, helping you through. And shadows and gloom are all that you see. mountain top, down to the deepest valley, hear a voice calling you. It's the rising sun, shining in the darkest alley. Can't you see you will be free? I have been far, I have been wide, searching for peace, somewhere to hide. Now I am free, open and pure, fearless and babe, I am secure. There is no dark that can't be lit. We'll find a way if we just commit. We are one. There is no them and us. Together we're strong. Together we're free. From the mountain top down to the deepest valley, hear a voice calling you. It's the rising sun, shining in the darkest alley. Can't you see you will be free? Can't you see you will be free? You will be free.
ArtistReview.com. All artists need a platform. The Artist Review makes sure you have the one you need to put your work in front of your fans. ArtistReview.com. Artist, REVUE.com.
Why won't they let us live?
peoplewarmer.com. Book your travel today. peoplewarmer.com for wherever you want to stay. peoplewarmer.com wherever you want to play. peoplewarmer.com. Go see a concert today. peoplewarmer.com. Book everything you need. peoplewarmer.com. Go ahead. Please, please.
You have a product? Let them help you increase sales. You have a video? Let them help you make it go viral. Peoplewarmers.com. peoplewarmers.com.
You just heard Let Us Live by Myron Mills, and we kicked off the day's episode of Articulation Radio with There Is a Light by Stonekeepers featuring David Manuel. Now, before I play the a cappella version of Amazing Grace by Sven Carlson, I do want to speak a little bit about today's topic because the title of today's show is Got Jesus and Getting Therapy. And I think that really that says it in itself, but to give you an extra treat because, well, just in case it doesn't say it, I will say this. Some people believe that all they need is God, but that's not true because you also need people. And God works through people or Yah or the Most High, Yahweh, whatever, Jehovah, El Shaddai, whatever name you choose, then yes, you need more than whatever divine entity you worship. You need people. You need relationships with people. Not only that, you will find that no matter how devout you are, that is truly not enough. And that no, you still don't have that healing that you want or claim. You still don't have that breakthrough that you want or claim. You're still not getting those blessings that you're trying to get people to think that are just raining on you. The stuff you're getting is because of work you're doing, hard work you're doing. And the work that you actually, the things that you do that are actual blessings, you can tell that they are. Those are those moments when, yeah, you happen to find $20 in a parking lot or, things that you had nothing to do with whatsoever. But they were still good things that happened to you. Those are blessings. Things that you know are the fruit of your labor. That is exactly what it is because you're supposed to be going out and getting it anyway. You're not supposed to be sitting back waiting for things to rain down on you that you are already equipped to go out and get yourself. But anyway, so I don't get too far off track because I can feel me getting heated. But got Jesus and getting therapy. Because people, I will be sharing with you all a very special nugget. I will be speaking with, you know what, I so want to tease you guys, but I really think that you've waited long enough. Dr. Virginia Johnson is in the house. And of course, she will be talking about her service that she offers, she and her team through Christian Therapists on Demand. And she also has a book that is out. You can check it out on Amazon or anywhere. As a matter of fact, even on her website there at ChristianTherapistOD.com. But her book is titled The Trauma Survival Kit. Yes, the Trauma Survival Kit. So go on and head on over right now to Amazon. Head over to ChristianTherapistOD.com. But whatever you do, definitely get the help that you need, because you already know you can't do it alone. You cannot do it with just you and Jesus. You can't do it with just you and the Father. You can't do it with just you and the Trinity. You can't do it with just you and Allah. You know, whatever it is, you and Buddha, you and Krishna, whatever, you and Satan, you can't do it just with that. You need people. You need relationships. You need people. Christian Therapist on Demand. Go ahead and get the help that you need to get over the things that seem to bog you down. But we're going to, as a matter of fact, like I said, going to talk to Dr. Virginia Johnson and bring her on for you. And so stay tuned. But in the meantime, head over to ChristianTherapistOD.com as well as to Amazon.com to get Dr. Johnson's book, The Trauma Survival Kit. The Trauma Survival Kit, Dr. Virginia Johnson. So hang tight, baby. About to bring on for you all Amazing Grace by Sven Carlson.
Are you looking for grant writers, technical writers, creative writers, academic writers, any kind of writers? Head to the Writers Consortium. Their website, writersconsortium.us, www.writersconsortium.us.
You are listening to Articulation Radio. Head on over to articulationmedia.club and let us know your thoughts.
Phone lines are open right now at Articulation Radio. Call 312-899-6237. That's 312-899-6237.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed.
If you'd like more information on how you can be an eyelash artist, call us at 314-560-1641 or 888-585-LASH, lashingoutloudinc.com.
Articulation Radio is very happy to have with us today, people, Dr. Virginia Johnson from Fresno, California. She is not only going to be sharing some great info that will help you all move beyond those things that continue to hold you back, as well as, of course, she's going to share a little bit of tidbit about her book, which is another way to help you all move forward. But first of all, let's confirm that we do indeed still have Dr. Johnson with us. Dr. Virginia Johnson, are you here with us today on Articulation?
I am. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for taking out time to come. And we are so thankful that you're willing to kind of let us pick your brain a bit, because we know that you've accomplished so much. People, for those of you who didn't hear earlier what I was explaining about her now, Dr. Johnson is a licensed neuropsychologist, as well as she holds a certification as a mental health integrative medicine practitioner. And I intentionally said those things slowly because I want you all to really understand not only the gravity of the knowledge that she has, but also the weight of the fact that she's willing to share these things with you all for free, because even though she's been an active medical worker since, I think, 2008 was when she officially began diagnosing and treating people who have cognitive-related disorders. But in addition to her being an entrepreneur, she has recently started Christian Therapist on Demand, and this is, matter of fact, go over to your Play Store right now, or whether you have Apple products or an Android, go to your Google Play Store or go to your Apple Play Store, put in Christian Therapist on Demand, and you'll be able to see how through CTOD she's able to combine these various methods that she uses for counseling. She mixes them in with scriptures. She'll even pray for you. This is the kind of support that as Christians, I'll erase the Christian aspect. Period. As humans, we know we need the physical support as well as the spiritual support. So here is a way for you to get it. And she also has a book that is titled The Trauma Survival Kit. Okay, y'all. And this is to help you kind of get to the root of those hidden issues. And so let's take them kind of one step at a time. Let's first start, Dr. Johnson, if you would, tell us why you're willing to sacrifice yourself the way you do and to keep pouring out as much of yourself into other people, even people who can't find it within themselves to utilize the help they already have or get. How do you find the strength to do what you do, and what was your motivation to even start dealing with we humans and our cognitive as well as our emotional problems? So tell us about your motivation and how you keep going.
Well, thanks for that awesome introduction. I really see myself as a hope ambassador, meaning that going through training, one of the things that you find is that there's a lot of focus on dis-ease, right, on pathology. And one of the things that I found is that, wait a minute, we have the ability to restore. Science supports that we can turn things around. And so my interest just went toward how can I let people know that, hey, there may be some limitations, but more than that, what are your strengths? Let's focus on improving your ability to utilize what's already inside of you. And when we do that, people flourish. The reality is that people may go to therapy, they may go to all these various services looking for something. However, after the professional gives them all of their recommendations, you find that people generally have what they need within them. They've heard about this information before, but for whatever reason, maybe the motivation per se wasn't there, or maybe there was some gaps missing as to how they can utilize the information. So I just sort of found that if you listen to where people are, you can help them be their own hero. And so just that process of we all are able to be our own heroes in that we have innate abilities. And those believers, we have the Holy Spirit dwelling within us. And when we match that with the knowledge and seek wise counsel, we are able to get and achieve those goals and success and peace that most of us so desperately search and seek after.
Yes, I so agree with you. And I especially loved when you said, that we have it already within us. It's all there. And sometimes we just have to kind of get that help to help us realize it's there or to tap into it. Because, there are some people, well, of course, there are some people that are so beaten down by life to where they can't find the wherewithal to pick it back up or to try again, or, even when they hear encouraging words, it literally means nothing. They're I would use the phrase empty sentiment. It means nothing. It does nothing. It sparks nothing because they've already believed before. They've already gone full scale. They've already given their all. And to have it to where at the moment or those moments when they feel like they really needed it, there was no rescue for them. And that's why I really loved how you drove home the point. We have to be our own heroes. And even with that, we still need help with it, but we have to be willing to even do that for us to even seek out that help and then let alone apply it or find ways to utilize it. And I guess that kind of leads directly into why you created the Trauma Survival Kit, so that people can actually delve into those things. So let's talk about that. And people head over to ChristianTherapistOD.com, ChristianTherapistOD, like on demand, ChristianTherapistOD.com. You can also go to www.thehps.me, www.thehps.me. Between that and ChristianTherapistOD.com, you'll be able to tap in directly and connect with Dr. Virginia Johnson and her team. You'll also be able to, as you know, go to that app store, grab up Christian Therapist On Demand app so you can have it easily on your Android or on your Apple phone, whether it's the Apple Play Store or the Google Play Store. But you can also get this book, The Trauma Survival Kit, from Amazon, as well as likely any other book retailer in the world. But as you know, the best place is from the author directly. But Dr. Johnson, tell them about the Trauma Survival Kit.
Yes. So one of the things that you said, you talked about how life beats people down, right? That is so true. One of the things, especially those who've experienced trauma, it's like working in the hospital setting. I worked in a level 1 trauma center, and we would often hear about these level 1, you hear these code blues in various codes, but that's generally when a team is assembled, they run to the person's bedside to administer help. However, people have experienced psychological code blues, and there has been no one there to revive them. And at that point, there was the death of their dreams, their hopes, the possibilities. And so being able to then come in and assess the situation, because medically that's what they do. They come in, they medically assess, okay, what's going on? What's causing this code blue? What caused this person to stop breathing? And emotionally, there's those thoughts of a person have just stopped breathing, right? They're numb. And being able to connect with them when they're disconnected. One of the things that is a very powerful tool, and it may sound funny, but the first thing is just helping a person become grounded. We just talked about like being able to first connect, even if it's just your feet on the grass. Okay, just grounding the person, as well as getting connected with supportive individuals in your corner. There's also recipes that are there in the book, and those are herbal teas. They help with helping a person to relax. And then once a person physically has been able to calm down, right? Even breathing. What happens is that when we breathe in and breathe out, the neurochemicals in our brain, they begin to release, and that will send signals to our body and our brain to relax. Sometimes people are trying to speak with someone when they're in a state where they can't even receive the information. So the first thing is getting a person to get to a point to where they can be in a relaxed state. And then once they're more in that relaxed state, then we can begin to engage and see how to help them revive so they can breathe again. So, but as far as Christian Therapist On Demand, one of the things about the app is that it will connect an individual who is seeking to speak with a licensed therapist. It will connect them so they can incorporate their faith into their counseling. There is also couples counseling as well as group. So there's resources there on the website at ChristianTherapistOD.com. And there's podcasts and various things that people can take advantage of to sort of put in their tool belt and their tool chest to help them as they work through some of these particular things. But I also wanted to say back to about life beating people down. One of the things that trauma does is that it begins to rob people of their identity. And they begin to go through an identity crisis of who am I? And they begin to call themselves by their pain. And they no longer begin to see themselves as who they were created to be. And they begin to lose sight of their purpose, right? However, that pain, and I've talked about this before and also in the book, the pain will punk you out your purpose if you let it. It will cause you to change and say things about yourself that's not consistent with who you are. But that's the pain speaking, right?
And that definitely won't push you toward your dream.
Right. One of the things that as professionals we do, there's, diagnosing, right? And that's a way of categorizing things so we can begin to say this particular treatment is beneficial for an identified condition. But sometimes people get caught up on those labels, right? And they are trying to find meaning in who they've been labeled to be. And so one of the things we talk about is breaking out of that label of what a person has been diagnosed with. Those conditions are letting you know that, hey, something is wrong. And we know that all these various symptoms relate and they indicate a particular diagnosis. However, when we see that someone is having anxiety, that's a time to step back and say, hey, well, what's going on? That's a signal. Our bodies are created, and it gives us these signals that something is going on. Our brain will alert us that, hey, it lets us know that the shadow we see in the distance is actually a shadow, not an attacker. But what begins to happen is that when a person has experienced trauma, the brain can go rogue. It begins to misinterpret cues, whether it's a conversation with our spouse, whether it's dialogue with the kids or with the boss or employees. It can cause a person to mislabel cues. And so learning to become aware of that so that you can begin to challenge that. We talk about the R5 process. It's a mind management tool there in the book, The Trauma Survival Kit. And that basically helps with that cycling of being able to rewire your brain, basically, because that's what's happening. All of our experiences change our brains. That's what it is. Neuroscience is has done a lot recently in showing that our brain can rewire when there's been injuries and things like that. Same thing with emotional traumas or combat traumas. There's things that can happen, tools that we can use to begin to put ourselves back into a state of healing. And so that is one of the things that the book talks about, that physical piece of being of relaxation, as well as the psychological piece or that mind piece to help put ourselves in a position or a state of healing. And that once we begin to follow those particular tools, then we can begin to get closer to where it is that we're desiring to be.
Yes. And that's where you want to be, people, because at the end of the day, we all know that, and it's great to be blessed to be able to survive anything that has come against you and could have not only taken your life, but did indeed take a portion of your being. So it's great to be able to live past those moments. It's great to survive. But what we really want to do, people, is to thrive past those moments, because too often we do know, and some of us who are listening can say that we have relatives who fall in this category, or friends or other loved ones. Some of us can say, no, it's us ourselves who's that friend or loved one of someone else who this is us. And so sometimes we really do have to look at, are we allowing this thing or these things, these bad things that we've gone through to identify us? And if so, go ahead and ask yourself, why not also have the positive things that have happened to you to identify you then? Because as we know, yes, everybody has hardships. Yes, every single person has a disability. And this is my opinion. You know, I'm one of those who I believe everybody has some kind of disability. Even some people say, no, I don't have any disability. And I've even said this to people, I don't have a disability. I'm like, but you're wearing glasses. You know, so how is that not a disability? You know, that's no different from, you know, my hand that shakes, or, you know, everybody has something that can be labeled as wrong with them. But not everybody choose to have it to where just because you can identify and can put a name to these particular things that are my flaws, that doesn't mean that that's all I am. But some people, I guess maybe because it came from a doctor or because they hear it so much from relatives, you know, then they think that that's all people see. But people, we want you to be able to see that you are more than that, and just consider the entirety of your being, please. You know, just understand it. And even for every bad thing that you can think of to say about yourself or to say to yourself, or every bad thing that has happened, try to think of 3 good things. And you'll see it's really not that difficult. You really, all of our lives, no matter how difficult they all are still great lives too. They really are. And thus the reason why being able to grab this book, the Trauma Survival Kit, as well as combining it by making sure that you not only listen to the podcast, the Christian Therapist on Demand podcast, but you also download that app so that you can engage and interact and get even more personal assistance, so that way not only can you get yourself in a better position, but you'll also be able to be of better assistance to those who you love and care about, because we know that that's what we all want to do. Yeah, we want to get ourselves straight, but a lot of times most of us are so focused on what can I do for you today? What do you need today? When really for today, you just need to stop and focus on you. So, Dr. Johnson, will you kind of address that for the listeners, for those who maybe have this kind of, I don't know whether it's like a guilt type of thing that goes on, or whether it's another form of self-neglect. But for those people who find it difficult to prioritize themselves, but still will put everybody else above themselves, whether it's their kids, their spouse, their parents, everybody. Can you please address that and let them know any tidbits that can kind of help them see the value in putting themselves first?
Yes, definitely. I mean, you bring up a great point. One of the things that we find is that when we're on the airplane, right, and they're giving us those instructions and they say, hey, in the event of an emergency, you know, the airbag is going to drop down. And it says, but if you're with someone, dependents, right, with you, you first administer the oxygen to yourself before you give it to the child or the dependent adult. And the reason why they say that is because if the person who is in a position to administer care isn't well themselves, then how will they administer care? And so it's in that particular vein that we understand that it's first ourselves that we have to administer the care to. It's easy. It's very easy to focus on others, because then we don't have to look in the mirror and we don't have to think about the thing that may be bothering us. It can be easier to use that particular energy to fix everybody else's problems. And so in doing that, we avoid having to take care of something that perhaps maybe we don't feel adequate enough to take care of, or perhaps we would have to face something that we don't necessarily feel ready to face. It's easier to say, I don't have time, when in fact there is time, but we choose to allot time in other areas. One of the things that is important is the concept of self-care, right? That's really what it comes down to. And being able to first acknowledge that you're deserving of being taken care of. See, the value is that they're like, I love them, so I am going to take care of them no matter what, right? They'll sacrifice, they'll work hard, they'll stay up late to take care of someone else, because because that's their love language. They're showing that's how they care and love. But what about loving yourself? And that same passion. See, it seems like it's necessary, it's required. If I don't do it, it won't happen. However, how much so is that true for yourself? So self-care is definitely huge. One of the first things is that something that a person has control over is when they get up generally in the morning. So say the day starts at 6:30, having the discipline, I'm just going to have to wake up at 6, just so I can have some time just to sit, to think, to plan my day. And it's powerful even the night before to start with planning your day to where that person feels like they have control over their particular day. When somebody's in that whole caregiver, worrying about other people, they can get pulled in different directions based on the needs of others, and they can lose sight of themselves. And so starting the evening before, identifying those things that needs to get done, and identify at least one thing that they feel like, if I can get this one thing done today, that would feel like a win for me. Build wins in your day. Even if it's one thing, like, I got a chance to take a 20-minute shower, right? And decide when you're going to schedule that in for the day. And that, say, is your win. Deciding that, you know what, I'm going to at least drink, my 8 ounces of water, my 8 cups of water. Yes. Kind of a thing. And then, but just build in wins during your day. Love yourself. Start in the morning with what you talked about, those positive things that they can say about their day, about that, what they have survived, what they have, what they do have to contribute. If they start with being able to identify those things, it puts them in a positive headspace. What begins to happen is that if they start the day like that, the brain is an awesome thing, man. I tell you. What happens is that your mind will be open to the possibilities of the positive. So if something happens during the day, you're going to be more likely to interpret it more positively than if you were to start off with, here we go again, kind of a thing. Then what's going to happen is your mind is going to connect with everything negative to confirm what you said. See, the brain is very interesting in that it gets very goal-directed, and if you to give it like, today's going to be a good day, then somebody opens up the door for you, like, the day is starting out great.
Yeah, you're going to count that as a good cue because you're programming it for what to look forward to. So we're going to be looking for this. It's like when you're going through people, and you know how, like, if, say, for instance, you're going through and you've decided, I'm going to go and do X, Y, Z to clean up today. And then once you've knocked that out, you're like, okay, that's done, but it's still not clean the way I figured it would be. And that's because you had already said from the beginning, you're only going to do this to clean up instead of but if you go into the room and you're like, I'm just going to clean all of this, and you're open to everything, then you'll see that once you stop, everything will be done, and you'll be like, it's all there, but it's because you were open to cleaning everything, so you're going to see every single thing that's wrong. But people definitely don't have it to where you're a forgetful listener. We don't want you to forget anything that you've heard. We want you to reach out. So, and for those of you who are just tuning in, you're listening to Articulation Radio. My name is Goddess Sage, and I am interviewing Dr. Virginia Johnson. She's the author of the book titled The Trauma Survival Kit, and she also is the creator of Christian Therapist on Demand. She has a podcast for that, as well as an app that you can go ahead and download right now on whether it's from your Apple Play Store or from your Google Play Store, so you definitely want to get that. Now, Dr. Johnson, for those people who are listening who are like, I'm a Christian, and I've been a Christian all my life, and I tithe, and my parents are Christians. I come from a family of pastors, ministers. We're very devoted, and I really believe that one day this thing is going to change, but for right now, I'm just honestly afraid, and I know I'm not supposed to be afraid because I know God got me, but this COVID stuff, still has me frozen in fear. I haven't even gone and visited my family. I'm waiting for them to get, what she says, I'm waiting for them to get inoculated. And so for those people who are living in fear because of COVID, and they're waiting for their loved ones to all get vaccinated before they go and see them, because apparently they must be believing that that must mean that nobody is going to be able to get COVID, which we know is not true. But for those people who are living in fear and who are believers, and what would you say to kind of remind them that they don't have to be frozen in fear, that they do have help beyond here?
Yes, yes. One of the things about, the pandemic, it has have lots of people frozen in fear. One of the things that's so important is to step outside of that fear. And I say this because fear, the chemicals that are produced in the body as a result of fear causes the body to break down, okay? And it makes one more susceptible to disease. But that's a whole nother thing. But as far as being able to connect with family, there are things that you can do to stay connected, okay? I know that some people have set up things to where they feel socially distant, and maybe they are, they go and visit, but they stay distant. There may be some people who they may go through the process of doing Zooms, and they have these family Zoom calls. They have recipes. They have contests, family contests, or things that they can do within the social distancing protocols. However, as far as being able to understand who you are, and that if understanding that, hey, I am a believer, but knowing that this particular condition, right, or disease, they say that this is going to be around, and it has been around prior to it, being as it has been as far as the coverage and that kind of thing, that this particular condition is going to be around. And so it's just like similarly as with the flu, people have found ways to use proper hygiene and things like that to minimize their risk. Like the person talked about perhaps the inoculation, that could be an option for them. But until then, there are those safety protocols that they can do. But more than that, managing their thoughts about what the condition is, that should not separate them from the closeness. It'll be different. They can still connect. However, the loving, the caring, the showing, you have to think outside of the box to stay connected to the ones that you love. It's good for everyone's well-being when you connect. And so being able to, don't allow that fear to stop or to impede your well-being, as well as to stop the gathering with the family. And when I say gathering, again, that can be within those protocols. There's ways to still connect with other people. And so keep the connection. The connection is so important for whether it's older loved ones, they need that connection. Younger ones, relationships, all of those things are definitely important. But find creative ways to make that happen.
Yes, and I am going to up that ante to you people on that. Make it a point to do that, because honestly, in my opinion, you're seeing people. It hadn't been to where this whole year you hadn't been around nobody. And just like you be up around these people that you up around every day, if you really wanted to go see your mama, your daddy, whomever it is, you would have gone on and see them too, even if it's just so now, we got to quit using things as excuses when just tell the truth. Just say you don't want to go, and this is a good, convenient time because you already know the things to do, unless you're saying that everybody you've been around, you've been giving this stuff to, and that you're a carrier. Then in that case, no, you need to stay away from folks, but if that's not the case, then people know. If just like you're going to work every day, you can at least make it a point to go and see your family, your parents, at least once a month or once a quarter, since you obviously, don't want to go more frequently or whenever you can, whatever, because I don't know your situation. It could be someone who's out of state and, once a quarter or once a year may be all you can do. But no, don't let anything stop you from doing what you know for a fact you actually can do. And just make sure you do things the right way, everything decent and in order. Make sure you have your hygiene in place and that you're practicing the proper safety protocol like you were advised. And also let me ask you this, Dr. Johnson, real quick. And then, and I know your time is tight and I'll let you go, but I want to ask you this real quick before I ask you the very last question. Now, what is there of all these years that you've been working in your profession and you've been helping people to get past, and even their children, to get past any cognitive-related disorders, as well as, of course, you're helping people to treat their emotional trauma and with their personal development. What is the most common problem that you've seen, and what is the or are the solutions that you recommend people take to resolve those?
Okay, one of the biggest thing that you see in most people is fear. It's anxiety. That's the biggest thing. If I were to break that down and look at, say, people that may be in a hospital setting, I generally would see them after a traumatic event, a car accident, an assault, various things, right? And then that's where there may be some cognitive issues as a result of the trauma that they may have experienced, or whether it's someone who, say, came in and they're just having adjustment to illness types of conditions. A lot of it, you see a lot of anxiety, or whether it's just someone who is seeking therapy. Anxiety and depression, those are the ones that you see most often. The biggest thing that I think that, and it may sound funny, but their language, the power of language, the power of thought, being able to understand that certain words, how the brain responds to certain words. So, for example, if I am talking to someone and I say, don't slam the door, well, the brain doesn't process the word don't until after I've said slam the door. So the brain says slam the door, don't. So when we talk in certain things like, I don't want to do that, I can't, those kinds of things, our brain generally will process everything else after the word can't, don't, won't, okay? And so when that happens, we are just recreating in our brain what it is that we don't want, okay? And so being able to change the language and be very specific as to what it is that we do want is one of the most powerful and empowering tools that we can use for ourselves as well as for our family. So being clear, say someone who has insomnia, I don't want to be up all night, right? I want to sleep well
and guess what?
tonight.
You're going to be up all night.
Exactly. Because, again, the brain, it's wanting to follow those particular instructions. And so it's like a computer. It's like a language, right? You have the brain is like an organ. It's like, say, a computer, right? And it's the hardware. However, the part that makes the computer go is the language, the coding language in the particular computer, as it is with our brains. Our language powers and drives what we do and who we are, as far as our identity, as far as what we accomplish, our motivation, all those things. So being able to say what you want versus what you don't want, okay? Then being able to say it in the first person as if it's already happened. All of those things create solidified things. See, I'm going to give you a quick example. The brain sees words visually, so that's why it doesn't pick up the word can't, don't, want. So if I tell you, give me a picture, if I say flower, what comes to mind?
A flower.
Okay, if I say car, what comes to mind?
Car.
Right. If I say don't, what comes to mind?
Nothing. I'm waiting for the next cue. I don't.
Right. So there's no visual to connect with the word don't. You see what I'm saying? There's no you see there nothing comes to mind. So the brain isn't processing the don't. It's processing what's going to come after. So the most powerful thing is say what it is that you want.
Yes.
Not what you don't want. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then say it as if it has happened. Like again, I don't want to be up all night versus I will sleep better or I will sleep well tonight.
Mm-hmm.
You are
I'm going to get me some good solid sleep tonight. Yeah.
Exactly. You're going to set up your brain some instructions as to how that should happen. The more that you begin to do these things and begin to, again, change your language and your thought process, and it takes time because say if you were to consider like a highway, right? And you look at the various lanes as if those are streets. Those are sort of how those sort of branches are inside of the brain. The more you do something, the stronger that cord or that fiber becomes. So when you begin to challenge a particular thought, it's like glue will begin to soften and loosen up that particular thought. And then when you replace it with the positive thought or what you can do, then you begin to rewire the brain and create new branches. The more you practice your new skill, the stronger it becomes, and it begins to break down the other. However, the more you do the one where you're saying what you don't want, the stronger it becomes. So the way to change is to change some things that a person can take away with. Start with being able to say what you want. Try to limit words like don't, can't, won't, those kinds of things, because there's no visual for it. Your brain can't really put it anywhere, and focus on what it is that you want. Take some time in the morning to start your day with what it is that you're grateful for. Gratitude is huge. We often align it with praise, but it changes the brain. What happens is, as I'm telling you, the epinephrine, norepinephrine, these neurotransmitters, they begin to flood the body and the brain, and it gives the person a boost in their mood. It shifts the thought process and how things are viewed when you start with gratitude. And so being able to do those kinds of things, drink, stay hydrated. There's some things that we can do to keep ourselves well, and it also will help with our mindset and get connected. There's get connected with other individuals that build you up, that be aware. You have to sort of protect your the change within. Because it can be easy. You hear things and you're like, oh, I'm going to do that, but then get into the same environment and resort back to the same type of thought process and speaking language and that kind of thing to upend all the change that you've been making. So putting yourself in an environment where you can begin to really protect your change, feed your change, and strengthen it. And so those kinds of things, and learn a new trade, learn something new.
Yes, and that's how you thrive, people, and how you create that new and better lifestyle that you want. And now, and Dr. Johnson, my last question to you, what is there that you would like to say to the listeners of Articulation Radio that you've not yet had a chance to express?
Gosh, let's see. One of the things I think that it would be is that whatever it is that you feel that God has placed on your heart to do it. One of the things that you find is that people generally think of success as a destination. They think that once I finish this and this, then I'll do that. One of the things that I would say is that it's not about where you are right now that will stop you from being where you want to be. It's about creating those mini wins that we talked about earlier, identifying what it is that you want, and pursue it with full passion, okay? Because the reality is that it's in your going that the doors will begin to open. So you have to begin to pursue something. And what happens is that the brain will kick in and you'll begin to see angles and have ideas that you hadn't had in your inactive state. So if you want more joy in your life and you're feeling down, well, share a smile and give to somebody.
Yes.
What you're going to find is you're going to get an immediate deposit of joy. What happens is that people tend to hold on what it is that they need because it feels like there's not enough. So people who are generally more anxious, they tend to think too far ahead in the future. And so it robs them of the present moment. So they are generally more held back and they don't want to give of anything for fear that they may need it later. But give the thing that you are fearing, and you'll find that it's going to come back to you. There's just that reciprocity in doing those things that if you fear, like, oh, man, I don't want to well, go and do something. And you'll find that fear lessens a little. Adjust the thinking process and set the expectation of your day, set the expectation of what it is that you want, and then you begin to go in that direction. And as you go, you'll find success, and you'll find what it is that you are actually looking for, especially as you serve others.
Yes, I so agree. Now, listeners, you know you have to go ahead and take part. Head on over right now. Get it in. Go to Amazon. Head on over to people. You already know. I'm not going to tell you. Matter of fact, I'll let Dr. Johnson tell them where they need to go if they want more and to take part and to hear the podcast.
One of the things that definitely check out Christian Therapist on Demand. Again, we have therapists across the country, and we're able to connect you with the support to help you achieve your personal goals and to help you overcome particular things that may be holding you back to live the fullness that God has for you. For more information about being able to get information about moving beyond the trauma and finding those things, uncovering those hidden issues so you can build that plan that we talked about for moving from survivor to thriver, then go to thehps.me, and that's thehps.me, and that's for the Human Performance Strategist. That you will find the book as well as the ability to send a message and connect with myself and my team.
Beautiful people. Make it happen. Dr. Johnson, thank you so much for coming on to Articulation Radio. We welcome you back here at any time you please. Listeners, you stay tuned. We're going to squeeze a couple more songs in for you. Hang tight.
Thank you again. Thanks for having me. You guys take care, okay?
Thank you so much, and you keep up the wonderful work that you're doing. And definitely, anytime you want, you are welcome to come back here anytime, any news you have, anything. We would love to have you. And even if you just want to share more information and just talk in general to, give people some healing tips, we would welcome you back into anything. Thank you so much.
Awesome. And if you have questions and if your listeners have questions and we do like a live thing, we actually can talk about some things, that's also an option. Just keep me posted. Let me know.
Very good. Thank you. And you have a wonderful day.
All right. You too.
Bye-bye.
Have you always wanted to start a business but can't seem to get it off the ground? Need help building a website? Contact The Conglomerate 972-880-8316 or visit theconglomerate.work, 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 972-880-8316. Start your new business today. Would you like a motivational speaker to come to your company or organization to speak to your group? Visit lifespurposeministries.com. That's lifespurposeministries.com.
You just heard Battle Hymn of the Republic, the traditional version, of course. Now, up next for you, we're going to get a little contemporary. I have for you Just Don't Get Enough of You by Mind Me featuring Emmy.
Do you frequently shop online and you're looking for a new place to shop? Join the club, JeffersonTaylor.club, where models, designers, inventors, and other creators offer customers the best products at fair prices. Jefferson Taylor, JeffersonTaylor.club. Join the club. Shop today, JeffersonTaylor.club.
Articulation Radio, thanks you so much for listening. So head on over right now to articulationmedia.club and let us know your thoughts on today's episode. In the meantime, we're going to keep the show rolling for you. Want to buy stocks, jewels, real estate, or other high-end items? Would you love to be able to contribute to charitable initiatives but cannot do these things with the money you currently have? Join Regal City Investment and Social Club, where you can pool money each month with other investors to make major purchases, give to the needy, and possibly turn a profit. www.regalcity.xyz. Become a Regal citizen today by joining Regal City Investment and Social Club. regalcity.xyz.
Never could have been thinking I would know what the future bring. All the highs and lows. Said I'm gonna win, though the world might spin. Now I'm sitting here like I'm no one. It rains down on me. All the phone calls I'm ignoring. See, I'm a mess, just trying to guess my way through this. Just don't get enough of me. Too much, got a policy. Didn't bring me luck, just the honesty. Now it's all on me, if I'm gonna win. Oh, I'm just gonna get up. It rains down on me. All the phone calls I'm ignoring. See, I'm a mess, just trying to guess my way through this. Just don't get enough of me.
Weddings are expensive, but your love is worth it. Go to marryusnow.us to book the Minister of Love to officiate your wedding today. The fee is only $200 if your wedding is in the city of Chicago, and there's only a small fee to get the Minister of Love to travel outside of Chicago to your wedding location. Book the Minister of Love today. Visit marryusnow.us. That's marryusnow.us.
Why does it have to be? All good things must come to an end, and this is the end of this great episode of Articulation Radio, hosted by yours truly, Goddess Sage. I encourage you to not be a forgetful listener, to apply the wisdom that you've received today and take action and assist the cause that you heard about on today's episode, as well as be sure that you take action in your own life on fulfilling not only your own dreams, but also helping improve the lives of the people that you know. And as we always say here when we close out the day's episode, the staff here at Articulation Radio loves you. We thank you. We look forward to seeing you, talking to you, playing your music on an upcoming episode, as well as running your ad for your business or product on an upcoming episode of Articulation Radio. So be sure to head on over to articulationmedia.club right now. Re-listen to this episode, as well as listen to past episodes, and make sure that your ad is played and your songs are spun. In the meantime, you keep being a doer, keep being a move maker, and keep making things pop, baby. Articulation. Articulation.